For some time now, I'm routinely exposed to nursing homes and rehabilitation centers and how they feed their patients and how the food that they're actually eating, especially for the people that are at the end stage of their life, and that's why they're there, because they can't do for themselves anymore, so they rely on other people to do for them, especially those people. They're routinely given foods that are scientifically and proven to make their condition worse and to prolong suffering, needless misery, lose their minds, Alzheimer's, other forms of dementia, and just overall not being awake or having clarity, or arthritis. Some of those people, the seniors, have arthritis in their hands so bad they cannot even open their hands or make a fist. And then they're routinely given foods as a regular part of their meals every day that exacerbates arthritis, makes it even worse, makes dementia worse. Some of them are cancer patients. I've seen them being fed foods that are proven to cause cancer. It makes no sense whatsoever. And these are largely people that, like I said, are no longer self-reliant. They are among the most vulnerable people of our society who are depending on people to care for them, and they're not being cared for in ways that they should be, especially when it comes to food. Now, the staff, amazing people, and I would guess they have no idea about food or nutrition, especially when I overheard a registered nurse at this facility make this amazing revelation that she did not get from any of her medical school. A registered nurse was talking to another nurse and said, "I can't believe it, the sucralose and aspartame and artificial sweeteners, it causes an inflammatory response in my body." It was like a revelation for her. This is a registered nurse. She's the head honcho, the big cheese, the boss, right after the doctor on the floor. And she had no idea that artificial sweeteners causes an inflammatory response. And this is typical. I've heard babble like this from many really wonderful people that just have no clue about nutrition. And it's hurting the people that they're supposed to be caring for. And they do care for them in wonderful, wonderful ways with a human connection. But when it comes to food, they're killing them. They're making it worse. I know these people are on their way out, but I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be wonderful if they were given things like the Gerson Protocol and things, livingfoodsinstitute.org and gersontherapy.com, things like that, and that was a way of life for them? I know for a fact, a lot of these people would wake up, they would become clear, they'd have clarity, a lot of dementia stuff would start to diminish. People who have arthritis and can't even open their hands, they'd start to open and they'd feel better. People would rise up out of their wheelchairs and start walking. I know this because that's what happens for the very few people that are exposed to those wonderful therapies and take them seriously. But they're not even offered as an option, they're not mentioned, and they're not known about in these facilities that are supposed to be caring for people that are the most vulnerable. And that's just the way that it is. Isn't that a shame? But I will say this, here's what I believe is the cause of that. There's special big business interests out there, just very select few people at the heads of these big businesses that profit a lot of money doing this, and they don't question the consequences of their profits. These are among the most evil, wicked people on planet Earth that prioritizes profiting over the wellness of people, especially the wellness of particular people who are at their most vulnerable and depend on other people to care for them because they can no longer do for themselves. What kind of an evil, wicked person exploits that kind of a person for profit? That's sick. And it's all over the leadership of the American Medical Association. It's all over the leadership. That kind of wickedness is all over the leadership of the major pharmaceutical players, as well as the FDA and select big business and chemical companies and big agriculture. Just very, very few people. I don't think there's that many of them, but all it takes is a few to be at the top leadership positions of those entities. And you've got what we have here. You've got industries that profits $500 billion, $1 trillion a year, somewhere in that. Not billions, not millions or billions, but somewhere around $1 trillion a year they profit by making people sick and prolonging their pain and misery and their suffering, especially the people that can no longer do for themselves. It's just a special kind of evil wickedness. But you know what? In my mind, what to do, because I always like to think of a solution. That's all the more reason why you have to start taking action today. Well, yesterday would have been better, but second best would be today, not tomorrow. But you have to take action to becoming a financially free and independent person. Otherwise, when you're at these places where you can no longer do for yourself, you're going to be living at the carelessness and recklessness of other people that are going to exploit you and look at you as nothing more than a cash cow to continue lining their pockets. And human beings shouldn't be treated as cash cows. They should be treated with love and respect and what's best for people. I love profiting, but why can't more people profit to the benefit of other people on the planet we live on instead of to the demise and the destruction of other people? And in this case, the demise and the destruction of people who are at their most vulnerable. It goes back to that special evil kind of wickedness. So my friends, consider that. Consider that you have a choice you can make every day, and that is to do little things every day that adds up and compounds over time to becoming a financially free person, so you don't have to live at the mercy of people who don't give a shit about you, except that you could be their next big cash cow. And for most people, even for most people that aren't at that stage of their life yet where they're vulnerable and at the mercy of others, most people are still living the lifestyle of a cash cow for those crooked, evil a-holes anyway, just by the foods that you eat. Take, for example, the milk that you buy. Milk causes cancer, causes inflammation. It takes calcium out of the bone. Milk does not add calcium to the bone. That's a big lie that you've been fed by FDA, by the American Dairy and Cattle Association. It does not add calcium to the bone, period. That's a big fat freaking lie for people to consume so that they consume more of their product and make them richer. Back to the cancer patient. The cancer people, including bone cancer, they're routinely given milk, but typically it's non-fat skim milk. Skim milk has been clinically proven to cause cancer at a faster rate than whole milk. I'll say it again, skim milk actually is more cancer causing than whole milk. It's been proven in a laboratory on rats. It's been proven. So why do they give cancer patients non-fat dairy or non-fat milk, skim milk? Why would anybody get that, cancer or non-cancerous? It makes no sense other than profits. But there's a better way to make profits. In fact, I think there's room for more profits by helping people rather than hurting them. But as for you and the solution, and it's not just you, but you're going to have family members, right? You want to be able to help them. You have to become a financially free and independent human being, because if you don't, you are so screwed. You just are, because of what I've just rambled about in this video, and this is just one example. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was something that was somewhat of a breakthrough and you go out and start doing your own research about this stuff, because it's really important that you not just listen to me or anybody blindly, but start doing your own research and find out. Watch things like, go to YouTube and watch The Gerson Miracle, Gerson Miracle. It's a free documentary. It's wonderful, and then that could lead you down a bunny trail of other documentaries and other things like that you can start researching and you know, start acting like a free-thinking person, utilizing your critical faculties and making your own decisions instead of just listening to some long-haired freak on a video on the internet. A long-haired freak who happens to care very deeply about the welfare of people and profiting, as we should, but at the benefit of people instead of at their demise. Really, that's a big deal. So if you dig this, I got a website. You might like it. I got thousands of pieces of content, all to do with health, healing, happiness, and freedom, mindset, philosophy. My website is tombirkenmeyer.com. That's TOMBIRKE, as in egg, N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, EYER.com. tombirkenmeyer.com. Check it out and pass this video along. If you'd like, if you know somebody who'd like this video too, just pass it on along, share it with them. This is a message that needs to perpetuate. It's much bigger than you or I. But there's more people that have been killed through medical treatment, and medical treatment is vital. It's necessary. There's a time and a place for it, but it's entirely abused in this culture. However, having said that, so that you know where I stand, there is no correcting the current leadership at the top of the AMA or the FDA or Big Pharma. There is no correcting them. They need to be in prison. I seriously mean that. They need to be in prison, and that leadership needs to be replaced by people who care about helping people and profiting to the benefit of the world. And the reason I say they should be in jail, and the reason I'm speaking this way, is because, let's put it in perspective. The nuclear bombs that were dropped in Japan to end World War II, those bombs, collectively, both of them wiped out about 250,000 people, and in the fallout for the years after that, millions of people. That event, where millions of people died a horrible, painful death from radiation fallout, that has nothing on what happens to people that are killed by medical treatment on a yearly basis. That number of millions of people, try multiplying that by like times 10. There's millions upon millions of people who die, needlessly suffer and die from medical treatment, at the abuse of medical treatment every year. That's sick, really sick. And a lot of them are people that are completely vulnerable and can't even rely on themselves anymore. And they're being exploited, taken advantage of, and they needlessly suffer and die. It is so freaking horrible. I hope this video gets shared with the entire world, because we need to start making better decisions, becoming financially free people, go down that path of discovery, find out what it takes and do it. And in the meantime, start right now voting better with your dollars. Voting for president or whoever every 4 years, every term, you know, that's really subjective how important that is. But what's really important, what really makes a difference, is how you vote with your dollars. Line up your money with where your mouth and your values are. Vote for organic, clean food with how you spend your money, and start thinking along those lines, because what you spend your money on is basically you're saying, give me more of that. And that's what industry follows, like it or not. It's our money that's going to make the difference. So please perpetuate this video throughout the entire world, and the entire world could change for the better. A big revolution. That would be completely wonderful. There's all kinds of people you love and care about that's not going to be around 10 years from now. I wonder why. If we make these changes, we can have people around 10 years from now, and they can be doing really well. People can become awake and clear, free-thinking human beings that feel good and have the mental clarity and the happiness and the vitality and the breath. And that's a much better way to live than at the exploitation of some very evil, wicked people that will profit over our destruction. That's the truth. So pass this along if you like it, perpetuate this message, and I've got my website, tombruckenmeyer.com. Take care, everyone. Next video coming real soon. I'll show you where I'm at, 'cause this is kind of beautiful. We just had sunset.